Morning. I'm just finishing up basically my route, I guess. Just want a couple things on this yard. This one I'm running the big blower, and because they just poured all that concrete down there, and the little one, you know, it's one of those ones that it's like you feel like you're putting as much time in on the blowing off of the materials than as you did mowing, and I just don't want to do that. So and then I had another property that was a business, so with the parking lot like it was, then it made sense just to bring the big blower today. So another factor here is when they poured that concrete, there was a standing ledge. The concrete was 6 inches probably higher than the soil around it. But I've coaxed that soil up and that was with the sod down. So it wasn't them adding dirt, but by hard edging. This time I string edged because I'll go back and forth. I don't always hard edge. But when you do hard edge, cutting that deep, narrow channel, that it promotes accretion, where there's, you know, because of the extra moisture that perks in under, and maybe even from debris that's from the rest of the yard that gets out onto the concrete and then gets blown back, and that comes back into that little channel. And then of course seed, grass seed gets into that channel, promotes growth and overall accretion, where you have increase of soil at those edges. And now today, for the first time, I've been able to carry my passes straight across, which helps me a lot with pass routing, efficiency. Instead of cutting this piece and then that piece and then that piece, you know what I'm saying? In fact, it'll get to the opposite eventually, where the grass will be standing kind of like this has started to, and then you just kind of got to feather your deck over the top of it. But yesterday I had a close call, and I'm gonna go ahead and load this up, and I'll show you all the skid marks and everything and tell you exactly what happened. But it's starting to make me wonder about my choice on lawn rig this year. I'm not to the point where I've made a decision to change, but I'll show you what options I have, and I'll show you what happened in general. It was a pretty close call, so it's kind of got me wondering and worried. Let me load this mower up. And one thing you want to know, if you only got an inch on either side of the tire to spare to rub the trailer tires, after you've got your geometry of your mower in mind, then you can do this. You can find a gauge for your front wheels, and where the front wheels were when they went past the point of conflict, which is those tires. So where my front wheels are on the machine I'm on, because it's symmetrical somewhat, that's where my back wheel will be. Almost. The back wheels do stick out a little bit further, but if I can see a little bit of this metal rail, when my front wheel comes up on it and I pull forward into my pockets, then my back wheels will have that inch it needs on either side, so I don't rub. Let me go ahead and pull it on, and now that somebody's watching, I'll probably screw it up, but hey, it is what it is. Hang on. Okay, it takes a little bit for the fuel to run out of the car, but I'm shutting mine off with the battery isolator switch, not with the points. I don't ground my coils, or points. I said points, I meant coils. I don't ground my coil to kill the engine. But anyway, so I did do it first shot. It's not perfect. You got about 1.5 inches there, and about an inch there, and that's enough. I've been through some pretty rough stuff already with it, road wise, and that seems to be enough clearance. Let me get this wrapped up and strapped down, and then I'll show you what happened yesterday. So what happened was I just checked my mail when I got done with my route, and I walked over to the Dodge. I was fixing to hook up the 16-foot landscape trailer and pull out, and I didn't know at the time what happened, what was happening. It sounded like a tornado. There wasn't tires screeching or anything like that. But if you go down there where that collar is, about right in there's gouges in the concrete where somebody in a high performance vehicle came and flew through that intersection, through that stop sign, and normally that street's very busy down there, to the point where they landed, like I said, where that car was moments ago. You can see the gouge marks. Then they lost control. They slid one block, second block, hit my box, through debris through the fence. Then they kept sliding, and it wasn't tires squealing. I mean, at a certain speed, tires don't make the classic squealing sound. And I mean, so it sounded like I didn't know what was happening. So it sounded like a dang tornado coming through. And then they slid over there, and then see that berm I built when I had my skid steer running. They slung up onto that and almost rolled it. I came running out thinking that they might need medical, but by the time I got there, they were backed out trying to pull away. But there is pieces to their vehicle up there and stuff. You know, I didn't want them to go on down the road and hurt somebody, so I let the police know, but they weren't too interested. They sent one of their bloating justification people out. They're rent-a-cops, they're geriatrics that drive around taking fuel all day just so they can justify next year's bloated budget. It's got me wondering, though. Yeah, I mean, mass matters sometimes, and that car has no mass. I think a dry weight is 1,700 pounds, and I've lightened it since then. With a situation like that, but I don't know at those speeds if anything would have helped. I'm estimating they were 80 mile an hour when they were sideways. Usually that ends up in a flip, and I thought for sure it was. But there's just tiny little things that make a difference in a circumstance like that. So it got me wondering. Of course, I can't run to Colorado right now because, you know, it's got 420,000 miles on it, and I was putting the mower on the bed, which, you know, I like that in a way. But that's not exactly a performance rig that you could get out of the way of. Yeah, it's got 260 horsepower. It's waiting for a water pump and a new radiator. For some reason, both of them decided to leak at the same time. I have no clue why. But anyway, it never has overheated or anything. But I guess at 400 and some thousand miles, you know, you can't ask for a lot. But it's a good running, smooth truck. So then another option is, never mind the phone number there. That's a company that's no longer with us on the bed there. This truck has the hydraulic PTO at the transmission bell housing, and I'm wondering if I could fashion a ramp on it. I still am not an advocate of pulling a big old landscape trailer around. To put a 72-inch mower in a landscape trailer, that means your axles have to be wider than 72. You know, I don't like the road. I'm not saying it's a road hogging thing, because I can go out and hog road as much as anybody. It's just that there's older people here that despite how much you try to push your side of the line, they can't respond. You know, they already feel like they're encroached on the one side, even though they're probably 2 feet away from the edge. Just because, you know, they have limited ability when you get older, you know. It's just something you got to deal with. Plus, we have narrow roads and everything. So if I was to do it, this truck would have the mass that I would survive most of those scenarios. And then if it had a hydraulic off of there, I'd put PTOs on it so that if I had a dump trailer, it doesn't need its own hydraulics. Do you see what I'm saying? It would have a plug-in port just like on the front of the Bobcat. And then if I got a dump trailer, I could get one where the hydraulics are defunct or, you know, or whatever. And then as long as the cylinders were good, and then I could run the hydraulics right off of the truck. And then, but in the interim, if I was to use it for lawn service, I could have a scissor gate, you know, a bifold that was driven off a hydraulic ram that slots into that hitch, and that hitch will carry 5,000 pounds drop weight on the tongue. because this is not the Dodge pickup. This is the cab chassis. It has the narrower frame rails. And with that, you can get the hitch that will carry 5,000 pound tongue weight, dead weight. You know, the tow weighting's, you know, what, 50,000 pounds or something? I don't even know. More than what I'll ever probably use. But, so that's an option. And then, of course, it's a comfortable truck, but with fuel prices the way they are, do I want to go that route? I really don't know. You'd be giving up back to the old math where you're giving up a lawn a day for fuel cost. And I really don't like that. I don't like to mow 1 yard per day for free, because on top of mowing, as you all know, you got to get home and do paperwork. So you're going to work at least a lawn's worth of time on paperwork, you know, and then you got maintenance. So you're already, okay, so if you got a lawn's worth of time on paperwork and a lawn's worth of time on maintenance every day, well, maybe you wouldn't have maintenance every day. And then you additionally want to give up a lawn's worth of revenue for fuel. I don't think I really want to do that, you know. But you got to deal with the situation you're in. And right now I'm a little shook up because, you know, with the speed that car was coming through, even if I had full awareness what was happening, I don't think there would have been time for me to get out of the way. At best, I could have backed towards the neighbor's fence, but you can see there's 2 holes punched through the fence from debris flying. So it could very well be that I would have been standing right where those holes were. And yeah, I guess at some degree, it's just a matter of, you know, when your time is up, your time is up. So I don't know what the solution is, but the cars are getting higher in performance. And as such, they don't like waiting on cars like mine. Even if I'm going full, I've been 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, and people just, they don't like that car. They don't like the idea that that car can get out there and get near 50 miles per gallon and do business. And they're stopping at the pump, you know, having to drop $100 every week, or well, less actually if they're out mowing. But I can't put $100 in that car. So I don't know. I'm just thinking, you know, it's got me thinking. So I'm going to get back to work. Hopefully y'all have a good day.